Welcome to Football Scientific. Tonight is our last in our series of college football preview videos. Officially, the college football season kicks off into full speed tomorrow night. Yeah, there was week 0 games last week. Yeah, we were born on our predictions for week 0 in college football. But tomorrow night kicks off the first full week of games, going over Labor Day weekend. Tomorrow evening, I will have I boiled down to 3 games I think are really going to be important for the college football season tomorrow night. I'm going to predict those. Just 3. I went through all the games. I picked the 3 I think is going to be the most important. And I predicted those. We'll have a show about that tomorrow, along with catching up with the NFL and the CFL and whatever FLs are working on things tonight, okay? But tonight, we're going to get our last conference preview for college football in, our last power rankings, and that will cover the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. SEC, we're right next to that. We're in Tennessee, right? So SEC. I did some research, and I originally said go Georgia yesterday, but I meant to say go Tigers. Which Tigers? LSU and Auburn. LSU and Auburn. They're both Tigers. Go Auburn and LSU. They're both Tigers. I just care about Tigers. That's why I'm hyped about Tigers. Okay. You can be happy about Tigers. Good. I want to be happy about Tigers. I'm tired of Tigers. All right, that was disturbing. Okay. All right, so we're going to SEC. There's 16 teams at SEC this year. You know, I say this year because it could change. You know how college football has become over the years. The first, at number 16 at SEC this year, we got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Hail State! Mississippi State. The good news for Mississippi State Bulldogs, they got quarterback Blake Shapen. He's coming back from an injury. It's always good to have a returning quarterback. Gives you a chance, man. Gives you a chance. Unfortunately, they lost 2 of their best defensive players. They lost some of their key offensive players to Ole Miss. So some guys ducked out and went over to Ole Miss to try and get some wins with Lane Kiffin. Mississippi State's left without. Okay, so now Mississippi State's going to struggle, man. They're going to struggle in a really tough conference. They're probably a decent team, but they're in a brutal conference. I got Mississippi State going 1-7 in the SEC and 4-8 overall. What does that translate to? A pretty decent team outside the SEC, but in the SEC it's brutal, and you can't play good without an explosive offense and a great defense in the SEC. Okay, so I got Mississippi State at 16, 1-7 and 4-8 overall. Number 15, very disappointing Kentucky Wildcats. I feel like Mark Stoops had them on the verge of breaking through and really becoming a top SEC team. But then, as NIL kicked up, they've been crashing out, okay? So this year, Kentucky Wildcats, they have a great offensive line. Mark Stoops has done a good job of holding his line together, recruiting and holding them together through the transfer portal. So that's going pretty well. For the offensive line. And you need a great offensive line to win the SEC. There's no doubt you need a great offensive line. But here's the problem. They lost a bunch of other players on offense. They lost their playmakers. So they kept their O-line, but they lost their skilled players to the transfer portal. What's that mean? That means you ain't got guys that tote the rock, man. You got the line, but you ain't the guys that tote the rock. And that's a huge part of SEC, man. Athletes all over the field. If you ain't got bullets in your gun, then that's a metaphor, then you're going to get beat in every gunfight, okay? So Mark Stoops, probably in his last year at Kentucky, I'd say if he has a bad season, I could see him getting fired, even though he had like unmatched success for a few years there. I got Kentucky going 2-6 in SEC and 5-7 overall, and I say Mark Stoops does not come back next year. I don't believe so. Number 14, Vanderbilt Commodores. They had a breakthrough year last year. They beat some teams. It felt good. A big part of that was quarterback Diego Pavia and the addition of Jerry Kill from New Mexico State. Bringing Diego Pavia The problem for the Commodores, instead of building off that success, they had some success. So what you got to do, if you want to win college football, you got to have some success. Maybe with transfer portal guys, but then you got to bring in some recruits. Maybe for the transfer portal and build a bigger, better team. You got to build momentum, okay? Unfortunately, they did not build momentum. They instead lost a bunch of players to the transfer portal. So they went and picked up players, made a run, and those players immediately dipped and went to a different place. They went to different places across the SEC, most likely, for NIL money. Okay? So Vanderbilt's in a tough spot. They do have the quarterback to do this. They probably will be competitive again. But I think they're going to be less good than they were last year. I got Vanderbilt going 2-6 in the SEC and 5-7 overall. Not making a bowl game. Okay. Number 13. Another coach that needs to win. Oh, I think it's done, man. Arkansas Razorbacks, number 13. Which is a very disappointing outcome for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They have a proud program. But it ain't happening right now. Arkansas Razorbacks, they have a quarterback, Taylor Green. He's coming in. He's going to be like Bobby Petrino's the OC. He was the offensive coordinator for Lamar Jackson in Louisville. In case you don't know, he likes dual threat quarterbacks. Taylor Green is going to be that dual threat quarterback. He's going to be a secret weapon of Bobby Petrino's offense. Okay. Problem I have, they lost a bunch of people to the SEC teams. They lost a lot of their play. They lost 3 starters, 3 returning starters to other teams. Okay, so that's not a winning football. That's not building momentum. You have to build momentum in college football. You got to stack classes. Okay, so you can't come out and bring in some parts and then lose a bunch of parts. You got to keep the parts and stack them. It's like that game Jenga. You got to stack them to win, okay? Without falling over. And then it's over. It's just like Jenga. The SEC is just like Jenga, y'all. Arkansas Razorbacks, I get them going 3-5 in the SEC and 6-6 overall. I don't have them going to a bowl, although they would qualify for one most likely. Number 12, Oklahoma Sooners. One of the newer SEC teams. Okay? Another coach that needs to win. Brent Venables needs to win. Okay? You can't go from owning the Big 12 to coming to the SEC and getting clobbered all the time. But they did have Lincoln Riley leave. Boop, USC. And he took some players with him. Boop, and now they're trying to steal some players back. Okay? They're hoping to make a dent in the SEC this year. They picked up some wide receivers through the transfer portal. So they are trying to stack some talent that they lost during the transition to Brent Venables from Lincoln Riley. The problem is for Oklahoma, they're trying to stack some parts. They're trying to get an explosive offense once again. But they have the nation's top schedule. They have the most difficult schedule in the country. That's not a recipe for a great season. But those offensive weapons are legit. And I got them going 4-4 in the SEC and 7-5 overall. They're going to upset some people, I think. Will they go to a bowl game? Maybe. Maybe not. It's not going to be a guarantee. Brent Venables might be done if you can't get to a bowl game. Number 11, Missouri Tigers. Okay? Missouri's had this thing. Missouri always comes in and people think they're going to stink. And then they outperform expectations all the time. You would think people would change their expectations for Missouri. Because they come in and people are like, they're going to stink. And then they keep winning. They keep winning. When are you going to change your expectations for Missouri? Missouri comes in. They got a new quarterback from Penn State. Okay, they're looking to turn this thing up on offense. They're known for having a good offense, at least the last 20 years or so. Defense struggles. Hard to win SEC games consistently when you have a struggling defense. It's like NFL football. It's like NFL football. You got to come out and stop the people. You got to come out and stop RPOs and play action. You got to know what you're doing. You got to play some great football on defense. I don't think Missouri is going to do that. I do think they'll have explosive offense, though.
Unfortunately, they do have 3 new starters on the yellow line. That's going to make it difficult. You're going to face some elite pass rushers. You got 3 new starters on the line. You got to build chemistry. The non-conference games will be huge for Missouri to get this thing together. Okay? The SEC, I got Missouri going 4-4. Missouri Tigers going 4-4. Total, I got them going 7-5 with a 78.9% chance to make a bowl game. It's pretty good. Next, another team in need of a revival. Number 10, Florida Gators. They do have a quarterback, DJ Lagway. Explosive star, expect to be a great quarterback for Florida. Getting back to a great quarterback. Okay, Coach Napier has a chance to turn his offense up with a great quarterback. But they have some issues. Okay, they got some issues. That means they lost an edge rusher to LSU, one of the best players in the SEC. They lost in LSU because they're not competing for championships. I think that last year there was rumbling Napier would get fired. I got them going 4-4 this year and 7-5 overall. I think he'll be fired if he goes 7-5 overall. Yeah, they'll go to a crappy bowl game. I think he'll be fired if he goes 7-5. I predict Billy Napier's done. Go back to Murray County, bro. Murray County, Georgia, where I'm from as well. Take that, Billy Napier. Hope I don't see you at the Food City, bro. Okay, when you get fired from Florida. All right, so I got Florida 4-4 in the SEC, 7-5 overall, 75% chance to make a bowl game. They need to make a bowl game. They need to win a bowl game probably. Okay, number 9, South Carolina Gamecocks. Finished really well last year. On the back of quarterback LaNorris Sellers. He's looking to build off his momentum. Once again, you build some momentum. College football, you need to come back the next year and roll with it. Keep it rolling. If you want to be a serious threat for the college football playoff or a conference championship, you gotta get the ball rolling and keep it rolling. Inertia. You push it and then you keep it rolling. LaNorris Sellers is a great player for South Carolina. Okay, they did lose the defensive player of the year last year through transfer portal. He left. That's going to hurt their defense a lot. But they do have a great offense. What's that translate to? Mediocre. Mediocre. I got South Carolina Gamecocks going 4-4 in the SEC, 7-5 overall. Better than USC, South Carolina used to do, but not as good as they have been. At least not it was expectations. 78.5% chance they'll make a bowl game. Number 8, we got Auburn Tigers. Are you excited about the Auburn Tigers, Tyler?
I am. I really am. Let's go Tigers. The only problem with the Tigers is Hugh Freeze keeps mismanaging the team. Why are you doing this, Hugh Freeze? Who's going to call plays? Hugh Freeze on first down, this other dude on second down, this other dude on third down. Who's the offensive coordinator? 3 people? 3 offensive coordinators, you have no offensive coordinator. Come on, Hugh Freeze.
I see it. You really got passionate about the Tigers there, Auburn. Okay. What do I see? I see Hugh Freeze causing a lot of issues, man. Very chaotic year coming into the season for Auburn Tigers. Okay? He does a good job of recruiting. He brings in good players. But his coaching staff is chaotic, man. He's chaotic. And probably the players are chaotic. When you have a chaotic coaching staff, your players will be chaotic. And it limits how good you can be. Who's going to be their OC? Hugh Freeze, his OC, some other dude. It's hard to say. And that's the kind of stuff he's got to figure out, like now, this week. I got them not figuring out. I got Auburn Tigers, one of the more talented teams in SEC, going 4-4 in SEC, 8-4 overall. I think if he puts up this season with 8-4, next year 8-4, he's done. You got to do more than just win. They want to be SEC championship contenders. I have an 87.2% chance to make a bowl game. They'll probably win that bowl game. Number 7, Texas A&M Aggies. Okay? They've been putting a lot of money into their program. A lot of NIL money. They should be ready to make this next step. Some people have them winning the SEC. I don't. But some people do. Okay? They got 5 stars returning for their offensive line. That's a good start. You got a bunch of 5-star guys on your offensive line. You got a chance. Problem is they lost pass rushers on the defense. Shamar Stewart, now with the Bengals. Nick Scourton, now out for the season with the Carolina Panthers. Okay, Texas A&M, great offensive line. But the defense is going to take a big hit, and that's going to bring you mediocre results. Now, the offense is going to be legit. The defense is going to have a good secondary and good linebackers. They're not the wrecking crew they used to be. They got a chance to be pretty good. But without pass rushers, it ain't going to happen. People are going to, rip you to ribbons in the passing game in the SEC. I got Texas A&M going 5-3 in the SEC, 8-4 overall. Good enough to keep a job? Maybe Mike Elko. Good enough to win an SEC championship? No. No, not at all. Number 6, Tennessee Volunteers. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Josh Heupel, up and down, up and down. I was supposed to go see him in a clinic this year, and he didn't show up. I hope they lose every game. I want to go watch something about his offense, and they didn't even show up. He didn't call anyone. ETSU had to take over for him. That's lame. Because it snowed. No one cares if it snowed. It's Gatlinburg, bro. Come to the meeting. It's like a 20-minute trip. He didn't show up. Okay. I don't think Tennessee is going to have a great season. I think they're going to be all right. They returned defense coordinator Tim Banks. He's been established as a pretty good defense coordinator and has 8 returning defensive starters. That's a good starting point. On offense, they lost Nico Amaliva to UCLA, and they lost running back Dylan Sampson to the NFL. And they didn't really recruit to replace those guys very well. They got some guys out the transfer portal. That's a 50-50 shot that's going to work, especially at quarterback. If you got a quarterback in a transfer portal, that's not a good sign for that quarterback. Usually means mediocre. So with that in mind, I think Tennessee's going to play some good defense. They have this fast-paced offense. It's entertaining. That's why Josh Heupel's there, most likely. He hasn't lived up to expectations, but it's been all right. Excuse me. I got number 6, Tennessee Vols, going 5-3 in the SEC, 9-3 overall. 94% chance to make a bowl game. Their target's going to be making the college football playoff, y'all. That's what they're going for. They're not going to have the offense to do that. They will have the defense to do it, but not the offense, which is frustrating. When you have one part that's good enough to go to the college football playoff and the other half is not. That's why I'm going 5-3 and 9-3. Again, I'll lose to Georgia, Alabama, and LSU probably. I don't know. We'll see. Tennessee at number 6, 5-3, 9-3. Number 5, Ole Miss Rebels, Mississippi. University of Mississippi, Ole Miss Rebels. Okay, they got Lane Kiffin, an explosive offense. They got quarterback Austin Simmons. Okay, he's there, leading the way. Okay, problem is, they got some offensive speed, but it seems like their defense isn't well built. And the problem with that is scoring as many points as you can will only hold up for a short time in the SEC. You won't beat the best teams. You'll beat a bunch of teams. But you won't beat the best ones. Alabama, Georgia, LSU. You won't win those games. So that limits you. I got Mississippi Rebels going 5-3 and SEC 9-3 because they're limited. They lack what you need, which is balance. Great offense, great defense. Tennessee and Mississippi both have what it takes on offense or defense to win the SEC separately. But they don't have the total package. They don't have the other half. So they're going to beat the bad teams, go 5-3, 9-3 overall, and lose to the best teams, y'all. Okay? Next. Now we get to the big boys. Number 4, LSU Tigers. Brian Kelly's their head coach. That's weird and annoying. I don't like Brian Kelly as head coach. I think Marcus Freeman should probably be there. Leave Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. I think Marcus Freeman would be a better fit for LSU. But Brian Kelly's there, making everyone uncomfortable. A bunch of people are saying LSU will win the national championship this year. I don't see it that way. I don't see them win the SEC. I don't see them even going to the college football playoffs. Spoiler alert. But they do have some all-conference players. They have the deepest transfer portal haul in the SEC. They stacked their roster. That's what you got to do. Good season. Stack your roster. They have a stacked roster. Okay? They lost 5-star recruits. And it's hard to replace those guys. And they've lost the last 5 home openers. This week, Clemson. If they want to be a national contender, they got to beat Clemson this week. This is a huge game. First game of the year. Don't let people lie to you. Say, well, it's not that big. It's the first game. They'll recover. Nah, man. They lost to Florida State a couple years ago. Never recovered. If they come out and lose to Clemson, it's over, Rover. I got them going 5-3 and 9-3 overall. I got Clemson winning that game against LSU. Battle of the Death Valleys. I got LSU losing to Clemson. I got them going 9-3 overall, 5-3 overall. Once again, they'll beat the bad teams and lose to the good teams. Alabama Crimson Tide. Second year for Kalen DeBoer. Loaded wide receiver room. Especially Ryan Williams. Loaded wide receiver room. It's not how you normally build an Alabama team. You usually build it from the ground up. Running the ball and then moving to the passing game. But Kellen DeBoer doesn't do that. He's hyped with the passing game. Yeah, they're loaded at wide receiver. Boom. Defensively, they lost some good players. Malachi Mason, Jahad Campbell to NFL. Can they bounce back from that? Should have an explosive offense. If they can replace those defensive players, they got a chance to compete for an SEC championship. Those guys do not show up on defense. The new guys do not show up on defense. Then it's going to be the same situation as Tennessee, Ole Miss, and LSU. You're good enough on offense to win an SEC championship, but you don't have the defense to do it. So you're going to be limited. Number 2, Georgia Bulldogs. SEC coming out. They got some players from USC, Texas A&M. Explosive playmakers on offense, adding to what they already have, which is pretty good. They did lose a bunch of linemen on offense and defense to the NFL draft. Hard to recover, but they're loaded at the skills position. So if they can get the O-line mostly rebuilt, they'll be better than most teams in the SEC. Okay, Kirby Smart's pretty good at building the program. He'll do what he needs to do. But that O-line, D-line situation is going to control your outcomes. So you got to figure that out first. Should have already figured it out, honestly. I got Georgia going 6-2 in the SEC and 10-2 overall. Rough ride. I think they'll find themselves in the college football playoff and the SEC championship game, and they'll lose to number 1, Texas Longhorns. Texas Longhorns have basically bought all the best players in the country to win a national championship. They play Ohio State this weekend. I got them beating Ohio State. But kind of in my heart of hearts, I want Ohio. I don't ever cheer for Ohio State, y'all. Go Bearcats. But if Ohio State beat Texas, that would be really crazy. You buy all these great players, NIL, you use the NIL. $80-some thousand, $80-some million in your program. Outrageous. You play another team, Ohio State's probably like $50 million, and you lose to them in their opening game. That would be crazy. Steve Sarkisian will be back on the wagon, be back on drinking alcohol all the time in his office if they lose to Ohio State. I also saw reported by the biggest, most lopsided, win or top matchup early season in the history of college football. Texas destroying Ohio State. Could go either way in my mind. Texas, though, they have Heisman frontrunner Arch Manning. trying to live up to the Manning dynasty. It's time for him to lead this team. He's got to lead this team, y'all. What's he going to do? I don't know. Peyton Manning never won a national championship. Okay, keep that in mind. He never won an SEC championship. Won a Super Bowl, though. 2 Super Bowls. Just because you're good doesn't mean you're the best. Okay? The bad news for the Texas Longhorns, they released a lot of players. They brought in a lot of players. They released a lot of players. Offensive tackles are going to be all different. Skills players are going to be all different. On offense, defense should be solid. But they're the most balanced team in the SEC right now. They're loaded at most positions. Most people have them as a huge favorite against Ohio State. I don't. I think they win by like 3 points. Honest. All right, so with that in mind, we look at Texas Longhorns winning the SEC. I have, for the postseason, predictions here. I have Texas Longhorns, Georgia Bulldogs, Alabama Crimson Tide going to the playoffs. I have them in the college football playoff. I do ultimately have Texas Longhorns winning the national championship. Citrus Bowl, not a college football playoff game. I got LSU going to that and losing. Disappointing year, Brian Kelly. Might be done. ReliaQuest Bowl, Ole Miss. They go in there and win. The Mayo Bowl, South Carolina. They go in there and win. Gator Bowl, Florida Gators. Really disappointing for Florida to be playing in the Gator Bowl, but fitting because they are the Gators. I got them winning that. Music City Bowl, Tennessee Vols. Once again, a local team playing in a bowl game that's kind of named for their state. It'd be disappointing to be in the Music City Bowl, but I think they're going to win it against IU, Indiana University. Texas Bowl, another local team. I got Texas A&M going there. Disappointing season, 8-4, going to that Texas Bowl, taking a beating, man. I think they're going to win that game, though. I think people will talk a lot of trash about them. Liberty Bowl, I got Missouri Tigers going to Liberty Bowl and winning the Liberty Bowl. And then Birmingham Bowl, I got Auburn Tigers going to the Birmingham Bowl. I do have Oklahoma not going to a bowl. There's a chance to get in one, maybe. But I got some other teams not going to a bowl in the SEC. Arkansas. So, I mean, it's probably the end of the road for those coaches. Ultimately, I have the SEC going 10-1 in the postseason. Maybe more, because Texas, I think, will win the national championship. So they'll probably, make it like 12-1 or something. Maybe 12-3, because I think Georgia and Alabama will both lose. They're not complete teams, like Texas says. Okay, so that is the last of our college football preview. Power rankings. That is the SEC. Tomorrow we'll have predictions for what I feel are the top 3 games in week 1. Thursday night games. Just Thursday night. There's a lot of games going on this weekend. Just Thursday night. My predictions tomorrow. Okay? All right. Remember, check out CFLNewsHub.com. Check out thelastwordonsports.com or something like that. Like the video. Boop. Subscribe to the channel. Boop. Keep this thing rolling. We're building up. We're stacking subscribers. It's like an SCT's got a stacked talent. We're stacking subscribers. Keep it coming. Have a great night. Up, 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 up.